Hello and welcome back in, you guys, to another One Piece video. Today, we're here to yap about chapter 1173's full spoilers. So if you have not checked out the full spoilers for yourself yet, make sure to do that in the pinned comment. I'll be typing it out piece by piece, as well as sourcing out to where I found these spoilers in the first place. So, getting right into it, we got it, you guys. We got another reader request cover art. Usually, I don't talk about these in these videos because they're not canon or relevant, but this one was just so silly, I just feel like I have to talk about it. It's Usopp trying to capture a beetle by using honey, but instead of just, creating a honey trap or putting honey on the ground, he puts honey on his nose. And not just that, but Chopper is in the background wanting to lick Usopp's nose off. I don't know, man. Where do they find these people? Who is coming up with these reader requests? I gotta wonder. Either way, it's a funny cover art. I got a good laugh out of it. And I say this every week, but I am still waiting for the day when we get another canon cover page series. I feel like it's right around the corner. This is about the same length we had in between the Jerma one and the Yamato one. Literally, any week now, Oda's gonna start us off with a banger. Ha ha ha. So, getting into the chapter, we hop right into Zoro's plan. And like we talked about yesterday, his plan is more or less to just beat the giants up. Of course, he is doing this strategically by jumping on the heads of the giants so that he doesn't get caught in the middle. So that's the grand plan right there. He's jumping from head to head while slashing them up. He uses an attack called three-sword style secret technique, crossing the 6 paths. If I do recall correctly, we have seen this a couple of times in the show already. So yes, he uses that attack to attack all the giants, and then now comes Dory and Brogy. They try to attack Zoro, but Zoro, the genius on this battlefield, simply dodges the attack, and that is when Dory and Brogy end up cutting each other in half instead. So, is this it? No. We gotta remember that when you are Domi Reversied, you do have immortality to an extent. You do regenerate. So even though Dory and Brogy and the giants are seemingly dealt with right now, they will probably just get back up next chapter. And the question arises, but what will Zoro and Hyruden do then? I mentioned Hyruden because he is nearby, and also Yarul. Yarul was last seen confronting the Domi Reversied giants. We don't get a mention of him here in the full spoilers. Maybe he is in the chapter, but the full spoilers do not mention him right now. So now, real quick, but Zoro's idea of jumping on the heads of giants to avoid Domi Reversied. Smart, but we are still wondering if Domi Reversied would even affect Zoro in the first place, because we have no idea, right? While we've been with Domi Reversied for dang near 40 chapters now, we still don't know how it exactly works. We don't know the conditions that you need to meet before you're affected. For Imu simply, shoved his tentacles through rocks and then rage baited him, and then boom, rocks was Domi Reversied. But also, there's the homeland theory where you have to be on your homeland to be affected. Rocks was at God Valley, he was affected. The giants here in Elbaph are in Elbaph, they're affected. So would it even mess with Zoro? That is a big question mark. But Zoro is being cautious and he's avoiding it nonetheless, which is smart. I feel like the last thing we want to do here at Elbaph is fight a Domi Reversied, Zoro, Sanji, or Straw Hat crew. So, yeah, hopefully next chapter we get some more answers. Hopefully next chapter more giants start assisting Zoro, because right now it is a one-man show. So now we cut over to Brook and we see that he is crawling on the ground towards Gunko, which is pretty damn funny, because last week, a lot of people, myself included, we were all speculating how Brook got out of his bondage. Because last we saw, he was wrapped up in a lot of arrows. So it's like, whoa, like, what happened here? Did he have a hockey bloom and did he burst out of the arrows? Did he cut the arrows? Did he maybe take his body apart and then reassemble himself? Is he using his soul? Turns out the answer is none of the above. He is simply crawling while bound. Pretty funny stuff. He's kind of like a worm. So we see that Brook calls Gunko Princess Shuri. Shuri, I'm assuming, is the last name here, because Brook is assuming that this is not the same Princess Shuri he knew from back in the day, because that Princess Shuri should be 80 years old at this point. That's right, you guys. We gotta remember, Brook is an old man. He is 90 right now. So yeah, this pretty much confirms that Gunko does not age. But how? Is it because of Emu's powers, or is it because of the Eternal Youth Surgery or something similar to it? That is a big question. And Gunko, just in general, has been very special amongst the God Knights. I mean, hell, look at Summers. Young at God Valley, old today. Garling, young at God Valley, old today. Gunko was young at God Valley and young today. She has not changed at all. And we have to remember that Gunko is the only God Knight that has been shown in the Flower Room. We haven't seen Garling there. We haven't seen any of the other God Knights or even the Gorosei in there. Only Gunko has been in that room. So what is with that? We don't know yet. So Brook, of course, blindsided by what's going on right here. He just says, that face, that blue hair, those different colored eyes, and that connection to the Holy Land. Not to mention your love for my music. Everything matches, right, Princess Shuri? So he's connecting the dots that this is the same Shuri from the past, and he says, I don't want to remember you in the slightest. You Father Slayer, the man whose life you took was my benefactor to whom I owe so much due. Guys, it's Brook season, man. So, like we talked about yesterday, I loved Brook's backstory with Yorkie, with Laboon. It was amazing. But with that being the case, we always knew there was going to be more to it. Because he mentioned how, at that time, he came from a certain kingdom. He was a part of a cavalry unit. And it's like, okay, that's fascinating. And we know how old Brook is. So it's like, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if that relates to something we learn about later. And here we go, we're finally getting more details. I will admit, I wasn't expecting Brook to hate Gunko off rip. But we do know that there's more to this story than Brook actually knows right now. Brook calls her the Father Slayer, pretty much saying that she killed the king. The thing with this, though, is that in the brief glimpse we had at Gunko's backstory, those 2 to 3 panels, we saw that she was crying out father with tears in her eyes. So I don't think she's the Father Slayer that Brook thinks she actually is. And it's so funny. Again, we talked about this yesterday, but it's so funny how this does parallel Loki and Hiruden to an extent. Loki, Prince of Elbaph, Father Slayer, right? Everybody hates him. Hiruden hates him. Nobody believes him. And then now we have Brook and Gunko, where Gunko is a Father Slayer. I think she's innocent. Brook hates her for it. And it's like, man, like, what is going on here? And in both situations, Emu plays a role. Like, dude, what is it? 3 fathers at this point? Emu has killed King Cobra, Vivi's dad. He's killed Harold, Loki's dad. And now he's killed this person, Gunko's dad. Brother, how many more fathers can Emu actually kill, man? Is Dragon next? I don't know. So, after hearing Brook scream out to Gunko, Gunko does come back to her senses for a little bit. But Emu steps in, saying, Gunko, do not tell Emu that you're beginning to remember things. Gunko says, run, Brook, and that is when Gunko releases Brook and the Straw Hats from her arrow bondage. The only Straw Hat still bound right now is Robin because of St. Somers' thorns. So, Gunko for Nakama? No, I'm just kidding. It's way too soon to say that, right? But, you know, let a brother dream, man. Let a brother dream. So, when it comes to all of this, I do think that Gunko's going to be redeemable. I feel like that's a big thing. Like, oh, you know, should we like her? Should we not like her? She's a celestial dragon. She's done bad things. It really seems like the version of herself that did these bad things had no recollection of anything beforehand. It really seems like they brainwashed her, right? Emu saying, oh, you're beginning to remember, huh? And then boom, he snatches control again. It's like, yeah, you know, I feel like Gunko is a princess that we need to save. Surprise, surprise, right? It is a reoccurring theme in One Piece, but it's another princess we gotta help. The only thing we need right now is a reason to save Gunko, because as it stands, Brook does not like her. He does not exactly want to save her from the sounds of it. So we need Gunko to tell Brook what actually happened that day, and that's going to be very hard to do with Emu essentially backseating in Gunko's body. So now that all of that is done, we cut over to the giants heading towards the kids. They are stopped by the evil Nika nightmare monster. Pretty funny, because yesterday they talked about how it's the evil nightmare mothers that stopped them. It looks like it's Nika now. I'm not too sure. Like, one leaker says one thing, another leaker says another thing. At the end of the day, nightmare monster is a nightmare monster. But yes, Ripley and the gang, they are fighting the evil Nika, but the evil Nika is resisting their attacks and is attacking the parents now. That is when Gerd, Goldberg, and Rode say, hey, we gotta help them, but we're also pretty far. So what they end up doing is they do a combined attack. All three of them go in for a triple commanding Koku Sovereignty, pretty much the same attack that Dory and Brogy use in Elbaph and in Little Garden, and they destroy the Nika Nightmare Monster. Pretty insane stuff when you think about it, right? Ripley and the Warrior Generation, I would like to imagine they should be able to beat a Nightmare Monster, but I guess this Nika Nightmare is on a different freaking level. The Nightmare Monster ends up falling towards St. Somers, and of course, this genius uses his Spike Club to smack it away. And that is when he realizes that the Nika Nightmare Monster falls on their escape ship, and it breaks. And he ends the chapter by saying, oh shit. Dude, I can't even hate it. You know, at this point, St. Somers is such a goober. He's done so much negative PR for the God Knights. I can't help but laugh. This guy is hilarious, man. Somebody said it, and it just cannot leave my mind. But someone said he feels like a Saturday morning cartoon villain. And that is so true. Dude, St. Somers is the gift that keeps on giving when it comes to elves, man. It's gotten so bad that people are now saying that after Elbaph is over, Emu is going to execute St. Somers. We have gotten to that point. We have gotten to Saturn levels of disappointment, guys. That is crazy. I don't know. If we get rid of St. Somers, the only thing that I would want off that is a new God Knight. Kill St. Somers, sure, but make sure to have a replacement ready. You know what I mean? Like, we can't just have like an empty hole now in the final war. We gotta fill it up somehow. But yeah, their ship is gone. I don't know what they're gonna do. Will they create a new ship? Perhaps they're gonna be on the lookout for more ships in Elbaph. Or they could try to take the Thousand Sunny, even though I don't think it would necessarily fit all the giant children. But yeah, either way, that is it for the chapter, guys. Let me know what you think about all of this down below. Again, we have no updates on Luffy or Loki. They are just currently MIA. Can't wait to see them again. But yeah, I'll catch y'all later. Make sure to drop your thoughts and theories down below. We will be coming back in the next couple of days and doing a comment read-through video. So if you want your comment read, drop it down there. But that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video all the way into the end. I really freaking appreciate it, brothers. And I'll catch you all later. Peace out and stay safe.